Welcome to the Honeymoon Mindset Podcast, discussing topics to give you tips and tools so you can choose to live your relationship with a honeymoon mindset. Here are your honeymoon mindset experts, James and Beth. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Honeymoon Mindset. I am James, one of your experts. Beth is still out on assignment. We are talking about today listening. We talked about listening skills or types of listening styles and communication styles last week. A lot of times what we see is the issue is the communication. Sometimes is a lot of the problems. It's a huge problem in a lot of relationships. And we want to curb that. We want to help you curb that. We talked about communication styles last time. You know, if you're auditory communicator, visual communicator, feelings, kinesthetics are the main ones. So how do you take that and how do you also listen better to your partner? Some of the things we'll say have been said before in the job place. Again, like I said, a lot of stuff gets repeated. If you go to your workplace, a lot of times they'll have trainings on how to communicate better, especially if you're in the service sector of some sort, restaurant, airlines, lots of different, even how to get along with your co-workers better. We also said before, communication is made up of three parts. The actual words that are said, the tone in the way the words are said, and the body language. Words of actually said is 7%. Tone is 38%. Body language is 55%. So we normally put a lot of emphasis when we're watching somebody and listening to somebody on the body language. We're watching what they're doing, what their facial expressions are. But is that really what is being said? No, it's not. Next thing is tone. I know I do this with Beth a lot. Well, this is what I'm hearing. Well, that's what you're doing. That's what you're putting your meaning to. But what did I say? So I try to help Beth, but the way you say it is the way I'm interpreting it. And she does the same thing to me. She'll say, when you come across like this, every time I think you're upset or irritated with me. Well, are you? No, I'm not. How are we going to get better at listening? We have to start listening to the words, the actual words that is being said. Not the tone, not the body language. It's very hard not to. When 7% of is actually the words that we hear. 7%. How do you listen to just the words when it's only 7%? How do you make that more? Is there a way to make that 7% more? And I want to tell you, yes, there is. And like I said, a lot of these tips aren't new. It's sort of quote unquote cliche, but there's a reason why. The reason why is because it's so simple and so basic that if we did this, your communication skill would get a whole lot better, or listening skills will get a whole lot better. The first thing is focus on your partner to what they're saying, not how they're saying, the tone or the body language, but what they're saying. Pay attention to what is the actual words. Next, focus on their face, just their face. They will feel appreciated, like you're really in tune, you're really listening. You almost want to focus just right on their lips and what they're saying, not anything else in the facial expressions, because sometimes their facial expressions will tell a totally different story than what they're actually saying. You have to block out everything else that's going on around you. There's a lot of stimulus. If you got the TV on, turn it off. You got music on, turn it off. If you can't do that, then you got to really, quote, get tunnel vision. Tunnel listening, or tunnel audio, let's call it. Focus in on what they're saying. and only that. Focus on them. Pay attention to their mouth. Focus in on the audio. Block out all the other distractions that are going on around you. If a kid or a dog or a pet comes up, say, nope, I need to listen to your mom right now or your partner. I got to listen to my partner right now. I'll get back to you in a little bit. When you focus on them, focus on their lips, you're paying attention to what is being said. You're not anticipating what's being said either. Turn your brain off at this point. You're not thinking. You're not trying to come up with a solution. You're not trying to solve anything. You're not trying to predict what they're going to say next. You're going to stop your brain from thinking. You're going to try to clear it and actually listen. Focus on their face, their mouth, so you can actually see with their mouth and what they're saying. You can hear what they're saying. Focus on what is being said. Get tunnel audio, is what I'm calling, instead of tunnel vision. Tunnel audio. Pay attention just to what's being said. Block out everything around them, around you, distractions, noises, kids, and stop your brain from thinking and actually listen with a clear mind. Those 5 things. There's several steps in listening, passively listening. You're distracted, annoyed almost. There's listening. That's half, 3/4 listening to what they're saying, catching 2 or 3 words. Passive listening, you're also listening to the tone. Body language is where you're getting most of your information from, because you're not paying attention to what's actually really being said. Listening, hey, you put a little more tone, you're paying a little bit more attention, but the majority of your message is coming from the body language, and tone. You got more, you're picking up maybe 3/4 of the words. Let's say that's listening. Active listening is you're putting more emphasis on keeping your mind clear. You're not trying to put your thoughts or feelings out there. You're trying to pay more attention to what is actually being said. So most of your information comes from the words, not the body language and not the tone. You're also trying to put your feelings in there, trying to feel what they're saying so you understand it, so that when you respond, you can actually feel what they're saying and you can respond appropriately. Oh, I was so confused at work today. So-and-so said this to me, then so-and-so said this. I was so confused. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know where to go. Somebody told me to report to so-and-so, and then this person also said I need to report to that person because they're in charge. If you're actually listening, you hear the frustration, you hear the confusion on your partner. Your partner's not looking for you to solve it. Your partner's not looking for you to come up with a solution. Sounds like your partner needs somebody to say, I'm sorry you had a confusing day. Let me give you a hug. Or what can I do? May I give you a hug? Will that help you feel a little bit better? Will that help with the frustration, confusion sort of melt away from your day? That is active listening. Listening is, yeah, it sounds like you had a rough day. You just need to go in there and say, who's in charge? You just need to ask the questions. No, that's not what they're saying. Passive listening. Yeah, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Sounds like a rough day. I'm sorry you're so frustrated. That's the difference. Your partner doesn't want you to be passive. Your partner doesn't want you to just listen. They want you to actively listen. Pay attention to the words first, so you actually hear what is being said, so you can feel what is being said. That is active listening. Most of us are in the passive listening because that's our society. Most of society, even if you look in the news and the media, the headlines, they make it so it's passive. They give you those little bits of chunks and stuff. They pick out the juiciest or the most controversial segments of what somebody says. and they use that as gospel truth. And they take that and they start spinning it, and they take that to start creating problems and issues. So many news sources do that constantly. Same with advertising and same with social media. But when you actually get down to it, you stop listening to those headlines and stop listening to that and start looking down to actually what is actually said, being an active listener, you find out that, oh, that was just a snippet of this whole speech or this whole paragraph that so-and-so said. That's not what they really said. When you actually put it in context and actually look at what they really did say, they took it out of context, spun it to the way they wanted to receive it, or they wanted you to perceive it, and started a controversy. Stop doing that with your partner. Focus on them. Focus on their mouth to what they're saying. That's 7%. And all of a sudden, that 7% will grow. And body language and tone will decrease dramatically. You'll get true information when you focus in on that 7%. What is actually being said. Tunnel audio. Tune into what is being said. Knock out all distractions. Focus. Focus in. It's part of that audio tunnel. Tunnel audio, And clear your brain. Clear your mind when you're listening. You could be in the middle of a million things. Stop and listen. You're going to hear stuff so differently. When you clear your mind and everything, like I said, you can put your feelings, you can feel better what they're trying to really say. When you listen on Mondays to Honeymoon Mindset with Kids, where we talk about nothing but kids and issues with kids. I shouldn't say issues. Things that come up or things that deal with kids and how to deal with them better. And we have a saying on there, listen with your heart, not your mind. You're in a relationship, a committed relationship with your partner. They want your heart, not your mind. Yes, they need your mind, but they need your heart even more. They want you to love them and care for them. You can't do that with your brain. You got to do it with your heart. And when you do that, you're going to be a more active listener, caring, loving, compassionate listener for your partner. And when you do that, fights will lessen, disagreements will go down, the respect for each other will go up, love for each other will go up, the bond between you two will increase big time. Listening is hard to do. We also have to get rid of this instant gratification when we're listening. And that's assuming what they're going to say. And I've said that too. Then that's where turning off your mind and listen with your heart. When you listen with your heart, you're going to hear more of what your partner is truly trying to say. Not tell you, but say. Thank you for listening. If you know somebody that can benefit from this conversation, please share this podcast with them. Send them the link. If you're struggling or want better ideas or practice on becoming a better listener, a more active listener, reach out to us. info@passionatelifementors.com. info@passionatelifementors.com. Send us an email. Go on Facebook or Instagram and send us a DM. Honeymoon Mindset group and send us a DM. We will get back to you and we will listen. We'll help you find a way to become a more active listener with your heart so you can be a more compassionate, caring partner. Thank you for listening. The 5 tips. Focus on your partner's mouth. Focus on them. Tunnel audio. Pay attention to what's being said. Get rid of all distractions. Clear your head. Listen with your heart. And become an active listener. And if there's something you don't know, ask an open-ended question. Clarifying question. and listen for the answer. Don't assume what the answer is. Just listen. And when you do, listen with your heart, you will have a honeymoon mindset. Thank you. We'll see you next time.